Well, Steve Train seen me working, so he seen me on Facebook, and I was just showing my flips and being transparent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he called me up and was like, "Yo, I want you on my podcast." I'm like, "What?" like you do know I'm not doing 100 deals a year. Like, you know, I'm very transparent about that. He's like, no. People need to hear your story. People need to see that it's possible at any level.
Welcome back to the Investor Unite podcast, where we talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship.
If you are looking to ignite your real estate investing, then join us at Investors Unite.
And on today's podcast, we got a very special guest, came all the way from Baltimore, Maryland. So very excited that we got Antoine Campbell.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys for having me. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, so super excited to have you here. We're going to dive deep into everything.
Okay.
We know like you're mainly focused on virtual wholesaling, you know, specializing also with having VAs and utilizing VAs to help scale your real estate wholesaling company. So we want to talk about that. But
Okay.
First and foremost, let's hear your story. Like, how did you get into real estate and then, you know, build your company?
Yeah, so my name is Antoine Campbell. I'm from Washington, D.C. I got into real estate probably when I was a young kid with my grandfather. So he was actually fixing and flipping houses for people. And he let me hang on with him on the weekends, and I worked part-time while I was still in school. So I had a chance to see the business. And then one day, a guy called us over to tear off a roof. It was a last-minute thing. We was on our way home. So we swing past, tore off the roof, and it took me about 2 hours to do it by myself. My grandfather older. He couldn't do it. He had nobody to call. So the guy turned around and gave me 3 crispy $100 bills, said, "Here you go." And I looked down and said, "Hold on." I'm like 12, so I'm like, "Yo, you pay me $300 for 2 hours worth of work? Like, how much are you actually making doing this business?" So that really intrigued me. So then as I was younger, right before I went to school in the mornings, I watched the infomercials. I don't know if you remember the guy named John Beck and Carlton Sheets and all that.
Oh, carton sheets.
Yeah, like it's like, yeah, you can do real estate, no money down. They had the little people jogging on the beach, and that really got me excited. So ever since then, I knew I wanted to do real estate. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I'm a third generation entrepreneur. Like my grandfather, entrepreneur, my daddy, entrepreneur. Then eventually, I became one. So I graduated high school in 2007 from Crossland in Temple Hills, Maryland, and then I was supposed to get into real estate. I'm thinking that I needed to get my real estate license. But at the time, in 2007, 2008, that's when the market crashed and people's houses was going through foreclosure. My dad lost his house, and I decided to just go get a job. So I got hired at a hotel called Gaylord. It's down in the National Harbor. If you ever visit National Harbor, it's a really beautiful place in the summer months. And I worked there up until 2013. From 2008 all the way to 2013, I worked there. But I never took real estate off my mind. I always was thinking about it. Yeah. But I met my wife, LaShawn, back in 2010, and we ended up getting married in 2011.
Wow.
Congratulations. That was fast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm a decisive person.
He was committed.
Yeah. So once we got married, I put this entrepreneur spirit on her because, you know, when I first met her, I told her, like, listen, I don't want you working just no regular job. I'm going through this, and I'm telling you, this is not the goal. Like, we have to do business. If we want to make it, we got to do business. And I came to her one year and said, yo, let's take our tax return money and invest in a business. So we end up starting a tag and title. So down in Maryland, you can go to an agency or satellite office to get your tags. You don't have to go to the DMV.
Okay.
And we did that. So we took the $10,000 and invested in that. The first 6 months was miserable because we wasn't making no money. And then I really got into the marketing side of things. So me and her went on vistaprint.com, and we got these business cards saying, you don't want to go to the DMV, give us a call, we'll deliver your tags to you.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So we figured out our lane. So we started to go to metro parking lots, like, you know, like how people catch the metro trains to go to work.
Yeah.
And they leave their car at the garage. So we started to go there, and any car that had expiring tags in the next 60 days, we put a business card in their car. And within like in 4 weeks, man, our phone was ringing off the hook.
Oh, yeah?
And that's how our business blew up overnight. So we was making good money, but the issue is when you're working with a situation like that, it's heavily regulated because it's federal government stuff.
Right.
So I still felt like it was a job because you at the mercy of them. They tell you what to do. They tell you how to move. And next thing you know, I looked at my wife and was like, okay, we got a little money saved. I really want to do this real estate thing. And she's like, okay, let's do it. So we end up started hanging at the Riz, like the local Riz, and we hung there for about a year before we realized that this is not the place to do it. And then I started to watch YouTube videos, and I found this guy named Sean Terry. Now, you asked me earlier who my favorite guru is. It's Chris Jefferson and Sean Terry.
All right.
So Sean Terry started talking about virtual wholesaling, and he started talking about cold calling, because the guy at the real was teaching us how to buy deals off the MLS.
And how long ago was this?
This was 2015, 16.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's like, the guy at the real, like, yeah, just go on the MLS and make an offer. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Because the realtors wasn't taking us serious. You know?
Yeah.
So once I learned how to cold call, then I started going to hang up other meetups. So meetup.com, I've discovered it's an awesome place to go find people, like to go to people different meetups. And I started hanging there, and I met this guy named John Mayer. And I told him about what I'm trying to do, and he gave me a call like 2 weeks later. He's like, yo, I got this girl. She willing to go call for you for $4 an hour. And I looked at my phone and said, who in the world in their right mind will cold call for $4 an hour? And he explained to me, oh, no, they're not here in America. They from the Philippines.
Right.
And I thought about it. I said, yo, when I worked at the hotel, most of the people I work with was from the Philippines, so I know that culture. And he was like, yeah, I introduced you to her. Long story short, the girl that he introduced me to was their boss. But we couldn't see eye to eye. We used to bump heads. So I looked at the girl and said, yo, is there a way I can just pay you a fee for you to refer me the person I'm working with, and you just don't work with me because, man, you just can't get along? She's like, yeah, send me $100. So I PayPal her the $100, and I started working with the girl. And next thing you know, she's like, boss, you need to do this to your spreadsheets. You need to do that. I did this. I did that. I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
She knew what she was talking about.
Yo, she knew she was talking about. So
And they're so polite, too.
definitely polite and
Sweet
respectful. And she really put me on to understanding the power of virtual assistants.
Yeah.
And that's how I really got the business started.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Dang. Yeah, that's a lot to dive into right there.
It definitely is. So you said that you're third-gen entrepreneur. So, I mean, it just runs in your blood at this point. Your grandpa was flipping houses. What'd your dad do?
So my father, he ended up starting his own transportation service. So he owns school buses and coach buses. So he do a lot of work for the D.C. government. And D.C., they don't handle their own school buses to pick the kids up back and forth to school. They subcontract that out. So he been doing that since 1997. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Long time.
yep.
That's a lot different than here. I mean, it's the schools that, they got their own transportation, their own buses and everything. So that's cool that he was able to start in that little niche topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the wholesaling business, so you got the VA and you're dealing with the marketing. So how did the virtual wholesaling come about? Like, were you like, I'm not going on any appointments. I don't got time for this. I'm going to just do everything over the phone and just close.
Or is it just from that meetup?
No, so everybody was teaching at the time, yo, go to the house, sit on the couch, and cry with the seller. Like, whatever they go through, you go through.
Yeah.
And I was like, Like, because we was getting so many leads, it was hard to be at, like, 3 different places at one time. So I was, once again, on YouTube land. Some people bash YouTube, but YouTube is good if you could actually find what you're looking for. If you're going on YouTube with intentions to say, hey, how can I get better at blah, 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 it's good for you. But if you just browsing through YouTube, it's bad for you.
Yeah.
And I came across another Sean Terry video. And he's like, yo, we doing remote flipping. And I just did a house in this place for $15,000. I'm in Arizona. I'm like, what? So I looked into it. And I'm like, okay. So then once I went down that rabbit hole, I found a guy named John Martinez that was teaching sales.
Yeah.
And they was basically teaching a style of closing where it's not too pushy, but you're getting your point across and you're doing business over the phone. And once I took that course, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't pay for it. My friend gave me his login. John Martinez, if you watch this, man, don't take it personally, but he gave me his login at the time, and I used it, and I learned a lot from it, and I will give him credit for that. I learned a lot of my framework from that, and I build on it. But once I learned how to talk to sellers over the phone, and I realized that what we do is not wholesaling, it's problem solving.
Right.
So once I figured that out, I was able to make offers that solve problems. So things got a lot easier for me. But I was doing it locally at first. I was just calling sellers in D.C. and Temple Hills and saying, hey, you want to sell? And the VA sent a lead. And I just talked to them over the phone. But then once I realized, we met a guy named Javon, and he wanted to come to Harrisburg to learn about real estate investing. I said, okay, man. My wife said, we'll ride with you. We'll go up there. And that's how we met Zach. We went up to meetup.com, and we said, I'm going to find the biggest meetup that got the best reviews, that got the most engagement. And we found Zach Meetup. And
shout out to Zach Weiss.
Yeah. He took us in with like stepchildren, like, hey, how y'all doing? He didn't know us from a can of
He's
paint.
a great guy.
Yeah, he was so nice to us and so genuine. And it felt really genuine. And he just showed us around town. He literally stopped what he was doing one day and gave us a tour of the whole entire city and said, you stay away from over here, invest over here, flip over here. And once we learned that, we just started doing deals up here.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, when it comes to virtual wholesaling, my biggest thought is, like, you're buying these houses or, you know, wholesaling them over the phone, getting them under contract, but you don't even know what the condition looks like. So how do you come about that?
Yeah, so once again, I had to learn how to be creative because there was nobody teaching a virtual wholesaling. Now, this guy named Jalen White, he did come out with a virtual wholesaling course, and it was a good enough information to get me over the hump. So once I learned that information, I added to it. And when I said, okay, how am I gonna know what the condition of the house is, I found some websites. So I went on the websites that realtors use called bpophotoflow.com.
Okay.
And they go out and they take the pictures for you for $25. They give you like 60 pictures. These the same companies that go out for the banks. You know what I mean? So I just told the seller, like, hey, my inspector coming. They don't know that they just taking pictures. I said, my inspector coming, it's a part of my contract process that when he come, let him in the house and he gonna take all the pictures so we can make sure that what you told us and what we agreed to is actually what it is.
That's
before
really
we
good
move
right
forward.
there.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's knowledge.
And that's how we cracked the code to that. So BPO Photo Flow and We Go Look. Okay. And then another hack was I was going on Instagram and Facebook and just looking at local photography pages and just inboxing them and say, hey, if I send you out to go take pictures, how much would you charge me?
Yeah.
And that was really good for like remote places or places that a lot of people won't want to go.
Yeah. So what did your first deal look like? Like you're just jumping into it?
Yeah. Well, my first deal, what happened was a buddy of mine named Bashir, we was trying to do a deal at that same meetup, and the numbers didn't work out. So he ended up selling it to another cash buyer. And out the gate, I wanted to just be a flipper. I didn't want to be a wholesaler.
Oh, okay.
I got into wholesaling by accident. I wanted to just be the guy like Dan Murrow, Fortune Builders, do 100 houses. That's what I thought real estate was. So that deal didn't work out, but I still had relationships with that title company. So I called them up and say, hey, listen, man, I'm buying deals left and right. If you know anybody that can't close on a deal, send them my way. I'll take care. Literally next day, he sent me a lead. Hey, this wholesaler couldn't close on this deal in Northwest. This would be a good opportunity for you. Because they kind of messed up on the deal too. So I guess he returned a favor to me. So when he did that, I called the lady, met her at the house, and we literally got a contract signed. So the wholesaler had it on the contract for like $380. And I walked the whole neighborhood and looked at my comps, and I came back to her and said I could do it for $337.
Dang.
Mind you, I'm offering her money, not even trying to wholesale. I'm just trying to buy it. Yeah. So I went back to the hard money lender named Jacob I met at that RIA and said, yo, I got this deal, boom, boom, boom. He like, here's a commitment letter. I'm like, all right, great. I'm looking at it. I'm like, $68,000? Why do I got to bring $68,000 to the table? So I said, Jacob, yeah, I got the money. Don't worry about it. And I went, so the seller, once again, solving problems. The seller, son owned the house and she was his guardian. The house was left to the son from the grandmother, not her grandmother, but the boyfriend or the husband, whoever he is.
Okay.
And that's how he got the house. So I knew that she didn't have any emotional attachment to the house and she just wanted money.
Yeah.
So I said, listen, before I let this deal die, I need you to hold $68,000 back, and I'm gonna pay you when I fix this house up and sell it. Mind you, I did talk to the hard money guys about this. They thought I had the cash, and I called the title company, and they put it all on the hood. And the day of closing, I get this phone call from the hard money people yelling and cussing. Man, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. I said, I told you I got the money. Nah, you need to have the money. I said, listen, it don't matter where I got the money from. I got the money. I made. But you got to disclose that to us, Antoine. Like, I thought I didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah. So anyway, they let me do.
They got paid though.
Yeah, they let me do the deal, but the catch was they wanted to hold, because I overborrowed just on purpose. I was conservative. Yeah. They wanted to hold the difference that I was supposed to put in my pocket. I was trying to put some money in my pocket. Right. They wanted me to hold the difference in escrow, which was like $40,000. So they held that in escrow. And honestly, that escrow saved out from doing the deal because we got robbed by 3 contractors. Our HVAC guy robbed us, did it real terrible. We had to get it redone. We got robbed on some framing stuff. Yeah. It was just terrible. But, we ended up making like $50K on that deal. So
it's not bad for the first one.
Yeah.
Because it's DC. Now, if it was Maryland or Pennsylvania, we would have got slaughtered. So
Yeah.
I'm very humble from that.
But I feel like the main like takeaway too from like your journey is you're being proactive. Like you're going out to the meetups, you're going out networking, not afraid to talk to people, calling up title companies, and that's that's a good gem right there too. Just reaching out to different title companies.
Yeah, I mean, because they get the deal flow.
Yeah.
So they know who closing, who ain't closing. So if you make a relationship, and if you can call a title company right now and say, yo, if any deal come through that don't close, send them my way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they already got the deed prepared. They got all that. So they want to make their money.
Yeah,
Right.
title's already been searched, everything.
Yeah, they want to make their money. So they feel like, man, I'm doing all this volunteer work and no one's closing. Let me just let him close or think he can close.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good source of deals. So if you make a great relationship with the title company, they should be sending you deals at least a few times a year.
Yeah.
That's smart, actually, because we do have a pretty good relationship with our title company.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to look into
We
it.
gotta give it a shot.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Now, when it came to, going back to the virtual wholesaling, because I want, the audience to figure out, like, kind of a game plan for them so they can start right away. Now, you started out with one VA and, $4 an hour. Is that what you said?
Yeah, $4 an hour.
$4 an hour. So you're cold calling or they're cold calling?
They was cold calling. I never cold called.
Oh, not at all.
Like, I can cold call,
Yeah.
but I'm the guy that if you say something to me, I'm going to match the energy.
Yeah.
So that's not my thing. I'm the type, I want you to be interested in selling. You don't even got to be like ready to sell right now. I just want you to be interested in talking to me about the possibility of selling your house. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
And sales, once you learn that, you can take that and build on that and build relationships with the seller over months.
Yeah.
You don't have to close everybody on the first call. And I think that's what a lot of wholesalers struggle with, that they think that, man, I got to get this deal done as soon as I talk to the seller. I slow walk a lot of people because I know for a fact that at the end of the day, they only going to sell a house once or twice or 3 times their life. So it's a big deal to them.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to rush it and make them feel like, you're making a bad decision. I'm going to say, here, listen, we're here for you. There have been times where my wife, she cash out people money to get groceries. I had a friend, Corey, we was partners on a few deals. He went over there and took people to the hospital for us, the doctors. Because, you get a lot of older sellers that are going through dementia, that are going through health issues, their families abandoned them. So you got to really understand, like, what is your place and how could you help them get across the finish line?
Yeah.
We written checks to the sellers and then got a notice, a sale sign saying that, hey, if you don't pay us back our money, to help you out to move, then we're just going to put this on your house. And when you finally sell, we're going to get our money.
Yeah.
So we took gambles like that. That paid off. We did a deal with a lady, LaShawn knew her. We were just driving for dollars. And we came across her house, and she was just going to let it go through foreclosure. But we told her there's a way we can save it once we discover the short sale.
Right.
I think the biggest source of leads that people are sleeping on is the no equity deals. No equity, bad credit. So if you can stack a list like that with people that got no equity and they got bad credit, then they'll be more likely to work with you to do a short sale to get the deal across the finish line.
Right, because if they were just to go list on the MLS with a realtor, after the realtor fees and closing
They don't
costs,
have no money for that. So that's why a lot of people, if you really look at the situation, and that's why I said as a wholesaler, you're a problem solver, they just let the stuff go back to the bank because they don't have the 6% to pay to the realtors. They don't have the extra money that if they come back from the inspection report, they got to get this done, get that done.
bring money to the table.
Yeah, so they looking like, man, I'm just going to give me an apartment, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But if you can be that person and say, no, we're going to negotiate with the bank to get you moving expenses. We're going to help you with this, and we're going to save your credit.
Right.
That's more than enough for them to cooperate and sign a few pieces of paper for you.
Oh, definitely.
Those are like ideal pace mortgage leads, like taking on that subject too, when you can just acquire the mortgage.
Not even like the subject to stuff, because remember, like most of these people we talking about, they haven't paid their mortgage in a year, 2 years, so they payoffs is crazy. Yeah. So it wouldn't make sense to shuffle up $80,000 to pay it off and get caught back up.
That's true.
This is like, okay, you bought this house, you was making $150,000 a year, and now you're making $40,000 a year because your husband died of cancer, and you just can't afford it. So your financial situation changed. You're going through hardship. You qualify for a short sale. The bank going to take less if you understand what type of. So I learned all this stuff from some mentors and stuff. If you know what type of loan was on it, if it's an FDA loan or one of the FHA loans, then there's a certain amount of money the bank must net on the short sale. So if they must net 85% of the appraisal, and you know what it appraised as is for, let's say, for example, oh, man, I know that this house is terrible. It's going to appraise as is for $150. So I'm going to make the offer $150 because I just wanted to approve for that, but I know it's worth $350. Right? Then I know that the bank going to take 85% of that. So I'm going to get a bank a formal offer probably $120, $130.
Oh,
So you just got to understand what the bank's supposed to net and make.
Yeah.
Because it's all underwriting. Once you understand the underwriting, how things work, you can really do deals. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. I was just going to say, do you think that varies from bank to bank, like on the percentage that they want?
The bank to bank and the types of loans. So if they did their own underwriting and they kept the loan in-house, then they had certain guidelines. But if they package these deals up and sold it to Wall Street or sold it to other investors, then there's certain guidelines too on that. So you just got to do your research and then go out there. And that's why like you got Propstream where you can say, okay, show me that houses that got this type of loan on it that had no equity. And then now you know that, oh, this bank, this is how they play. Wells Fargo, this is how they play. Okay. And you get you 2-3 solid realtors, it's not going to cost you because the realtors got a fiduciary responsibility for the seller. But if you get 2-3 solid realtors that you can send these deals to get across the finish line as far as short sales, you can literally sit back and don't even have to really do crazy cold calling marketing trying to convince people to sell their house where they have no other reason to sell their house.
Yeah, that's a whole different niche right there because we just just closed on a short sale and then we found a buyer for it like the next week after, 9 days later. Yeah, it was actually the neighbor.
It was our first one.
Yeah.
It was quite the experience. We actually started that back in October, I want to say.
It's a little bit longer of a process, but it works.
But if you, you can get them under contract all day. So if you stack your pipeline up, you can be closing 5 deals a month easily.
Exactly.
If you can all you do is focus on people that's going through a struggle because everybody leave them behind. Yeah. So no one's really going after that lead source. Yeah. And you become this 5-10 deal a month company that's literally doing these deals. And then if you, so what I learned was when we was doing short sales, we weren't assigning contracts. We was creating fresh LLCs and assigning the LLC interest over.
That's so smart.
And that's how we was getting around the banks for saying, nah, we don't want to see none of them in our hood.
Yeah, because banks don't let you wholesale or do novations or any of that.
None of that. So you assign the interest of the LLC over.
That's a game changer.
That's smart.
Yeah, so every deal I ever done is always after the street address of the house. So if it's 3500 Cindy Lane, it's going to be 3500 Cindy Lane LLC. And the reason is I'm going to get the LLC, I'm going to put it on the contract as the LLC, and then I'm just going to sign that contract of the LLC.
So you're basically just wholesaling the LLC?
Yeah.
Nah, that's crazy. Yeah. How much are you paying to make these LLCs typically?
It all depends. Like in the state of Maryland, it's like $200. I never done a Pennsylvania LLC. But mainly I do Maryland ones. So I never really done a Pennsylvania one.
No.
Now, you talking about the list, like the no equity list. It made me remember, I think a while ago, you told me about this crazy list. Because you dive deep with the list. You get so creative. So I don't know if you want to touch base on that.
Yeah, sure.
About a gambling list, people that gamble.
Yeah, so they got all types of lists. So once you understand data and lists, you can go to a list broker and say, give me a list of everybody who's loves MGM, right? And then say that same list of people, give me only them people that got bad credit.
Yeah.
And then you take that in a Propstream, you use Propstream List Automated, and now you say, okay, now show me everybody that has high equity and has probably got even a lien or going through pre-foreclosure or that's vacant.
Yeah.
And you put these stacks on, and now it's not going to be 10,000 people, but it might be 500 people. But you only need 2 or 3 solid people to make some good money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you're really filtering it. More and more.
So these the lists that we don't even crank up the triple line dollar. We just had them single dollar. Because we want quality conversations when the VA finally gets them on the phone.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. So speaking of networking as well, I mean, she brought up how that was one of your strong suits. And before we started the podcast, you mentioned some of the other people's podcasts you've been on and even some of the guests that you've had yourself. How did you get plugged in with some of them? You want to bring up who they are if you want to?
Working. So he seen me on Facebook, and I was just showing my flips and being transparent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he called me up and was like, yo, I want you on my podcast. I'm like, what? You do know I'm not doing 100 deals a year. I'm very transparent about that. He's like, no. People need to hear your story. People need to see that it's possible at any level.
Yeah.
So I flew out there in Arizona, and he just asked me about my business. I was telling him I'm doing this with the VAs, I'm doing that. I didn't understand that people wasn't even operating the VAs in that capacity. So by the time we got off the podcast, man, I had like 100 inboxes like, yo, I need a VA.
Oh, shoot.
And that's how the VA business came about. Like,
Yeah.
it came about by accident. It wasn't even intentional. It was like, I need a VA. And then next thing you know, I took my 2 VAs and said, yo, train some more VAs so we can help these people get VAs. But at first, I was nonchalant about it. I was like, I don't want to deal with these people. You know what? give me $500 and I'll hook you up. Thinking that, oh, I'll leave him alone. That guy crazy. Dudes text me back, yeah, what's your cash app? I said, blah, blah, blah. Ding. I said, what? So
$500.
yeah,
Is that?
I said, oh, I got something. Because once again, like all the businesses I've ever done was service-based business. So I knew that, okay, before I came about, from my understanding, the only way to get a VA, you had to go through an agency, pay $8 an hour, $10 an hour, or you had to go on Fiverr and then you had to retrain them.
Right.
So my model was, I'm going to charge you a $500 flat fee up front. I'm going to let you get the VA for $4 an hour, and I'm going to give you a 6 months guarantee. So if you're not happy or satisfied with the VA, I'm going to be placing free of charge, no questions asked, throughout that 6 months.
Okay.
And we had that same model since 2018, and we haven't even raised our prices. My wife be yelling, yo, why you ain't charging people $1,000, $1,500? I said, I'm like one of them old hamburger spots that don't go up on their prices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Costco hot dog.
Yeah, exactly.
And you still run it till this day, right?
To this day.
So how is that business? If you want to get into numbers, or if not, that's cool too.
We put it to the point where it basically runs itself.
Yeah, fully automated.
Automated. And I'm the guy that probably do some of the sales calls, but 85% of everything is done with my team.
Yeah. Do you prefer that? Like, is that better than the wholesaling side of things, or?
Yeah. And the reason is it's scalable, it's flexible, and we're not just serving real estate clients. We actually serving everybody. Any and everybody who need a VA. We funeral homes, hospitals, clinics, dentist practice.
So how are your other VAs then training these people specifically for whatever niche they're getting hired for?
So then that's when recruitment come in. So we have a recruiting house, and then we're recruiting people based on their experience, and then we match them up. So the only people we actually train are like lead generation people.
It's like Tinder for VAs, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. So we only train lead generation people because we want to make sure that when we give them to people, they're actually doing what we're promising.
Right. Now, for going back to someone that's starting, like, what's the proper things like they would need to set up their business? So, like, let's talk about CRM. Let's talk about dialer.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So the first thing I tell people is you need a dedicated source of income to support this because there's no guarantee you're going to get a deal. Some people come into this thinking, they come to me, yeah, I'm going to get my deal in 30 days. But I'm like, okay, what happens in 30 days if you don't get a deal? Well, I'm going to have to stop because they only got 30 days worth of money to burn. So I advise them, say, listen, go work for Uber, Instacart, DoorDash, whatever you can do on the side to make the money for the VA salary and your software subscriptions.
Yeah.
And then once you get your deals on the contract and you finally get to close, because even if you get a deal on the contract, you're still about 45 to 90 days out from getting paid. So I try my best to be very transparent with the clients I work with to let them know that there's no magic pill.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can make $30,000. Yes, you can make all this money, but it takes time.
And do you recommend them get a VA right away, or like y'all got to make calls yourself, kind of learn the game?
People may contradict me and say he's crazy, but yes.
Okay.
Because no matter what, it's a $4 hour task.
Right.
You can make more door dashing than you can cold calling. So I would rather go DoorDash for 3 hours a day and make, $100, $200, and then pay my VA that $20 for his 4 hours, and I keep the $80. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it from a different logic. And then I'm spending my time in my real estate business talking to people that only want to sell or interested in the offer.
Right.
Versus, hey, you getting cussed out or you getting mentally worn down. Let them do that. Get them reps in. You focus on people that's actually ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, you just be the closer.
Exactly.
So you recommend just starting out with like Podio or Google spreadsheets?
Man,
or?
for real, Google spreadsheet would do. We even created a spreadsheet for our clients. Like, yo, don't waste your money on that.
Yeah.
Get your spreadsheet, get your dollar, get your list, and get to work. Like, we don't want all of these different softwares and tools because at one point I was paying like $3,500 a month just in tools. So my wife yelled at me like, yo, what you doing with all these tools?
They start adding up.
Every time a new tool come out, I get it. Investor Lift come out, I get it. This come out, I get it. Like, and then when you realize that it's simple. You just need a good place to hold your leads, to follow up, and then you just need a good place to manage your contracts and your closing process.
Yeah.
Once you get that, you don't need nothing else.
Okay. So you talked about primarily on lead generation. Now, once you have these leads coming in, you get them under contract and everything. How did you start finding your buyers for it?
Well, so I'm giving you all the soul. So when we find buyers, we want today's buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Like a buyers list, all this. Them are my buyers that was in last cycle 12 months ago. Like people that was buying 12 months ago might not be in the playing field today. Not saying they won't buy again, they just not ready today.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is I like to go on Propstream, pull a list of flippers that's currently flipping, that's pending, which means that see what I'm saying?
Just did that.
It's under contract and they most likely looking for their next deal.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I call up the realtor and say, yo, I see your manager sold this deal and y'all about to close in a few days. I got something else he may be interested in the same side of town. Should I send it over to you or him? Or can I send it over to Most times the realtor will let me talk directly to their client because they know they're going to get the listing on the back end.
Yeah.
Then sometimes I just know if I know the client buying in a particular LLC, then I use Propstream and look up the multiple businesses that they have or the multiple houses. And I found that one LLC that they forgot to change their name off of.
Yeah.
And then I just Google that LLC. Once I Google that LLC, I Google that LLC with their first name and last name. And most time their LinkedIn profile pop up, a phone number pop up, a website pop up, something pops up with them. And I just give them a call. And I address everybody first name basis.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd be like, hey, Antoine, how you doing today? Who's this? This is Justin giving you a call. And listen, I see you bought a bunch of houses over in Mechanicsburg. I know you got one currently pending. Are you open to buying anything else for your next project?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got this house that I think you may like. If it's okay if I send you over the details. And I just texted to him.
Yeah.
This, a few pictures. If you want to move forward, then I send you everything.
Right.
So now you started with the virtual wholesaling, so you're pretty much doing now outside of your market where it's just Washington. Are you doing nationwide?
Yeah, so we was doing Florida, Georgia, and then, of course, up here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when we was doing that, it was great because it's something about the southern states. People are more friendlier
Yeah.
compared to DC. Get off my phone, blah blah. I cut you, I'll kill you, I'll shoot you.
Yeah, they kind of crazy.
Like Pennsylvania or Georgia. Oh, my mom's not here. I tell her give you a call back. Matter of fact, here's her cell phone number. Just text her shit. And like they're very nice and open.
Yeah.
So it's a different quality of prospects you're talking to.
Yeah.
And you're just cold calling too, or are you texting as well?
We was texting real heavily until they changed the legislations where you have to, report to the phone carriers and this whole A2P thing. We got it back down packed, but we don't text crazy. We just text them niche lists.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how big does your team look at this point?
There's only 6 people now.
Only 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain like what each one of their roles would be?
So I have one VA that cold calls.
Okay.
I have another VA that runs the lead generation side of things, pulling lists and all that.
Yeah.
And then my other VAs, they just focusing on the text message.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And then me, I'm usually handling most of the acquisitions. And then we do train VAs to do acquisitions. But lately, I've been focusing on acquisitions and we about to reboot. Like, so I went on a break for a while. So we about to reboot the whole campaign. So we're going to start up in Baltimore. We about to start up in Pennsylvania again. And now I got a strategy. Because at first, we get deals on the contract, we sell them, whatever. But it was no purpose.
Yeah.
Like, then you get the money and you don't be a good steward of it. It's like you're on this hamster wheel. So now, like, looking at it and, COVID allowed me to take a break and really sit back and look and see what I want to do. And now I'm going at it like anything we do moving forward, we just want to keep.
Yeah.
So I want to give you a scenario and tell me how you would work this, right?
Okay.
So let's say you get a lead out in we won't use Baltimore because you're kind of close. Let's say you get a lead out in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And the homeowner actually lives in like Arizona or something, but you want to virtual wholesale it. So, I mean, you guys agree upon a price. They tell you what condition it is that they last know of, but you go to hire your photographer and everything. How does one get into the property to actually get those pictures when there is no access?
So we asked the homeowner, is there anybody that can get us access to the property? Usually, most times, they
Like
got
a neighbor or something, right?
Yeah, usually most times somebody's looking after the property. Most people just not going to leave their stuff crazy unless, like, it's like a rural, like, mobile home or something like that. They just can't get it. But, like, in a city, because, the city regulates everything, and then they're going to issue them, like, a repair order, or they're going to issue them a citation, your grass too high. So they're going to stay on it to keep their stuff up, or the city going to get on them. So most times, what I notice is a lot of homeowners got a key, a lockbox on the house, or they got a cousin or somebody who got a key to the house, and they'll let us in, and we just coordinate that with them.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And I know we were talking about you guys were doing some flipping. Is that going to be in the future too? Or?
Yeah, it's going to be this year. So, I just had, because the one thing about people don't tell you about flipping is it looks sexy when someone go in a Facebook group and show $100,000 check. But they're not being transparent about everything.
Yeah.
I can show you $100,000 check and be taking a $15,000 loss. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the transparency isn't there. So, then you got to understand if you're doing multiple flips, most of the time you're paying interest payments to your investors. You're front loading a lot of the materials. A lot of your contracts, they want to get paid.
Yeah.
Like they're not like you get paid last out of everybody.
Right.
So then you get to the point where you go and you sell a house, and now you got to even give a discount or you got to get some subsidies to help the people qualify. Or most times the inspection comes back, and I don't care how great you do a house, they're going to find like 3 pages worth of stuff. That's just their job.
Yeah.
Like now the inspector's making TikTok content where they showing you everything.
Yeah.
Like, yo, so you'll get this back, and now you negotiate to say, I'm going to give you a discount or I fix it. Most time, I just give them money and say, okay, this is what we're going to give you. You go fix it your own. I don't want to do with it.
Right.
Because if you fix it and then it's still an issue, they can call you back.
That's true.
So every time I work with my realtor, we put everything in writing. We give them the paper. We say, hey, we give you the money. If you decide not to fix it, that's not on us.
You just discount the property that amount of money?
Not even discount the property. We just give them a credit.
Oh, okay.
We give them a credit because either way, it's going to cost money. So why not just give them a credit and let them do it?
True.
Yeah, because I know before we were talking, on the podcast, you guys were saying how you done 8 flips at one time.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy.
This has been ambitious.
Yeah.
Being ambitious and you having a dream and a vision thinking that, man, you're going to be this 100 deal a month person, not understanding that takes a lot of resources and a lot of people. You got to have, like, to do 10, 15 deals at a time, you got to have an in-house office of, like, 2-3 people. You know what I mean? To help you out with budgeting, drawers. Like, you got to coordinate the drawers to align with, okay, this contractor want to be paid for his rough end, but my lender can't get nobody out to next week to look at it.
Right.
But I owe this guy $8,000. So now I got to pull off my credit card or on my bank account, and then I get reimbursed from my lender. But it's not really reimbursed because I got to continue that up because the next time they got to get paid, I got to pay again. So it's this cycle of always spending money.
So you saying in-house, like building that bigger team, have you ever thought about that? Like doing stuff in-house?
Yeah. Like once we get to our point of doing deals again, we're going to have everything in-house. Like,
but still keep like the virtual side.
Oh, yes. The virtual assistant is going to collaborate with the local people. Now, the person that we had in-house locally would be the guy that go order the materials, to take the pictures, to coordinate the drawers, and to coordinate with the contracts, to get the bids, the proposal. And the rest of the stuff, the VAs handle ordering the paints for Sherman-Williams, making sure the spreadsheets look good, making sure everything is ready for closing, all of our stuff filed in Google Drive, every HUD statement, everything we got is in order. Because you can kind of get lost in the sauce when you're doing these deals because you get paperwork from everybody. And if you're not upkeeping it, it just be a habit.
You start drowning real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you do virtual wholesaling. Have you tried virtual flipping yet?
Well, technically here in Pennsylvania, we was doing virtual flipping because majority of the flips we was doing, we was in Maryland and we was just operating off the phones.
Yeah.
So
then coming to find like contractors and everything, were you just going through different resources? Referrals? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good people know good people. That's my philosophy.
It's true. Without a doubt.
Yeah. Now, how do you stay organized with your businesses, like with the VAs? Do you use Slack or is it like some other software?
At one point, I built out this virtual office, but it was great. But the issue was it lagged the VA computers, so it made the computers run slow.
Yeah.
So now we just use like even Facebook Messenger group chat, and then we use Slack too.
Okay.
So every day I give each of my business a certain time. So I carve out like an hour to spend with, this person from the business. And then like a lot of the VAs, they work independently. So they're not all in group settings. Like I got one VA, he's in charge of the branding and the websites of every business I got. So when I need a funnel, when I need a website built, when I need a new landing page, or if a client signed up and they don't have a website, we'll give them a website for their lead generation, just for branding. Hey, go build that for them.
Right. Now, I'm curious, like, because you're gonna get back into it. I know you were saying you took that little break. Like, what's your new schedule gonna look like with you running all these different businesses?
Man, it's the same old schedule. Wake up, get the money, go sleep, dream about the money. So.
There you go.
And then, you know, my family, they love me, so I make time for them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very flexible. Like, I block, like, I had this rule where I just block my schedule out, and everybody knows. So I have a master calendar that's my calendar that's integrated with all the schedules of all the different businesses.
Okay.
From the real estate business to the marketing business to the VA business, it all aligns with my main schedule. So if you want to book a call with me, and maybe you hire me to consult, then you'll look at my calendar and say, oh, I can book them Thursday at 2:00.
Yeah.
So I've been really working on the schedule for the last 2 years, and it's been amazing because you go from working 60-hour weeks to only working 30, 20-hour weeks.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. Because it's compressed.
Yeah.
So what I learned was, like, we don't need to have a meeting about everything. We don't need to be on Zoom about everything. So I may say, you know, I'm going to record a Loom video and explain to you what I'm trying to say and send it to you. If you need more clarification, then we hop on the call.
Yeah.
So just really understanding my time and being respectful, and then being respectful of other people's time, that I don't like excessive meetings.
Yeah.
When I first started out, every 5 minutes we was in a meeting, we was talking, and next thing you know, 2-3 hours worth of time was wasted on just meeting. But if you got, at one point, I had 65 VAs that was working directly for me through all of my companies.
Wow.
And then I scaled back. I scaled back because AI hit the scene, automations got even better, and technology got better where I didn't need a lot of the VAs to do the things I needed no more because we had these tools now.
Right.
So now it's like all together it's 8 VAs on my team. Outside the real estate, it's 8 VAs.
Dang.
That's for like the recruiting of your VA company.
Yes.
Okay. You're killing it.
I know. So what's like your main goals like for this year, getting back into it?
Well, besides getting into real estate, you know, so do you know who Daniel Clayman is?
I don't know.
Look into that guy.
Yeah.
If you
Is
wanna
he
be-
local here or where?
He's from Richmond.
Okay.
Richmond?
He's never one of my favorite gurus. You ask me who
Alright.
my favorite guru,
I'm gonna look him up. I gotta look him up.
So maybe what you guys should do on your podcast episodes is, when you get guests, say who's your Mount Rushmore
Okay.
of gurus, and then at the end of it, maybe put all them pictures up there.
There you go.
think
That's a good
that'd be
idea,
dope.
actually.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
could do
so-
that for this one. Try it out.
So Daniel Clayman is a person I look up to and respect because he created a software company for real estate investors, mainly for fixing, flipping, and managing construction draws and all that. What you guys are doing, I think you should look into the software.
Okay.
And that software company is an 8-figure year software company, but it allows him to take that 8 figures and go do real estate without needing no investors, partners, and just work directly with local and regional banks.
Right.
So he's building duplexes, 20 units, quads, spec houses to flip and sell, and he got a crazy portfolio. He built like a $120 million portfolio in like the last 4 years.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
he's the real deal. Like
Is it a subscription based?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the software?
It's a yearly fee. I don't know the cost because I used to have it, but I'm gonna get it back soon. But it's worth every penny because it got the drawers, it got the spreadsheets, it got all that built into it where you can know what your cost of stuff is. Like, let's say, for example, you got a counter with touch of color, they charging you $1.85 for a carpet. You can factor all that in, and when you do a deal, it tell you exactly what all that stuff should cost. It show you your actuals versus your estimates, and it show you exactly where you at. It's
Do
really good.
you know the name of it or no?
Rehab Valuator.
Rehab Evaluator. Okay. We'll have to check that out then.
How important do you think it is to stay organized within your business?
Definitely important. You know, now I'm not the master of it. I got a lot more work to do, but it's definitely important.
It sounds like you're doing pretty good with it. All the
But
different
what I
spreadsheets.
will tell you, the biggest hack that I do on a daily basis is I write down everything I need to do for the day on a piece of paper and I cross it out. Whatever I don't complete that day, I move it over to the next day at the top.
Okay.
And that way I never get behind on things.
Smart.
Are you pretty much up to date with like going to masterminds? Is that pretty important too, or?
I mean, it used to be, honestly, but now it's not.
You kind of already got the resources.
The resources and then like just personal connections and then
Yeah.
like a lot of masterminds, it just got watered down over the years.
You think they just teaching the same old thing?
It's
just-
regurgitated. It's like a cool club. Like
Yeah.
most people pay to get in masterminds to get the reach to the people they want to be connected with.
Right.
So like
right.
you'll join a connected geniuses. Just because you want to be around the guys that's doing 100 flips a year. Like, there's no other reason why you would join it, because there's a guy out here on YouTube that's so underrated that he's giving it away for free.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can't go learn it. It's just that you want that connections with the other guys.
Gotcha. And I know we kind of skipped over the goals question because we talked about the guy and then his software. So, but like, what are your goals? Is your goal to have a software company or something?
Well, technically, I do have a software company. I just don't market it because it's a software company that handles my customers in-house.
Oh,
So
okay.
when we get customers that, like, we set up people wholesale businesses like from A to Z. So we get your VAs, train them. We'll set up your marketing with you. We help you with your dollar. We'll put you through the acquisition training, the disposition training. And we will make sure that you got everything you need. And then you got me for 90 days, not coaching, but just my availability. So I look at myself more as a consultant than a coach. I'm the type of person just ask real technical questions. I get you the answers to them. And, we help out a lot of people with that program. We don't even really advertise it either. It's just word of mouth. People come to us and we say, hey, this is what we can do for you, or take the VA and go figure it out.
I'm sure a lot of people about to be hitting your phone after this.
No,
I mean, like I said, I don't really sling courses. If you look at my website, it's more value driven than anything.
Yeah.
And we put out 700 videos on our YouTube channel. And, we do a lot of podcasts, and my goal is just to teach people what I learned over the years.
No, well, man.
So,
go ahead.
I was going to say, so if somebody's like getting started in wholesaling, how much money would you recommend that they have to start up? Just for like
at least minimum $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month?
Minimum. Because if you break it down, that's like one cold call at $4 an hour. Part-time, that's $80 a week, plus all your subscriptions, your skip tracing calls, and any other things that might pop up. And then sometimes you may want to scale a little bit and you may want to get aggressive. If you can afford a full-time cold caller, I recommend the clients to just hire 2 part-time people. And that, because think about it, you're not going to let somebody call for 8 hours straight. It don't make sense. They're going to burn out.
Yeah, they're going to get
So
tired.
you would get more buck just by hiring somebody to work 4 or 5 hours and letting them call straight for 3.5 hours, and then letting them do something like clean up your list or individually skip tracing leads that they couldn't find, or like it's a bad number. So we tell our VAs and our clients, yo, if you get a lot of bad numbers, that's good. That means everybody not calling them.
Yeah. So
go use something like a True Finder, and then find like the cousin or the uncle or the next of kin, and then call them and say, hey, listen, I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. We got some money for them, and if you can point us in direction, we got a referral fee for you too.
Sure.
And that works really well.
that made me think of timing. Sometimes it's good to call in the morning, sometimes evening. So like, what's your thoughts on that with, having, let's say someone can only afford a part-time VA. Should they call in the morning or evening?
So then what you do is you set the expectations with them that they're going to be working on a fluctuating schedule, meaning that Mondays and Tuesdays, they may work from 10 to 2.
Okay.
Because you want them to call in the mornings. And then Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, they may work from 2 to 6. Because you want them to call in the evening. So you just work your schedule like a job. Like, I don't think you had a regular job before, have you?
We worked at a trampoline park together, and I was a caregiver and worked at a warehouse.
Okay. So you understand the scheduling and all of that. So,
yeah.
So you just create that schedule, and then and I'm already telling them. So on my schedule, I'm like, Mondays and Tuesdays, you're calling them pre-foreclosure list. Wednesdays and Thursdays, you're calling the absentee owners vacant list. And I'm giving them a different list to call, because what it boils down to, it's not about none of the lists. It's about being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to be consistent.
Right.
How many leads do you think you're pulling per month to cold call?
Probably about 2 to 3 leads a day, so probably like 60 to 75 leads a month.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And how many? Like, what's the rate on that? Like, are you from ListSource or Propstream, wherever you're getting your data?
Our leads mainly come from Propstream and then local stuff. So like here in Pennsylvania, the first thing I do, take the sheriff sales list and just run it back through Propstream. Show me, okay, who actually had equity, who actually is vacant, and then narrow it down from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I would do.
And when you're talking...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, when you're talking about like the more niche lists, like the gambling list or the MGM list, where are you getting things like that from?
You can just Google it. There's a bunch of data people. Just Google gambling list, high intent list. And there's a bunch of data providers. There's so many, like they come and go. So you just got to Google it, call them, say, hey, I'm looking for this list. Could you give me this list? But I will tell people, try to stay under like 3 cents a record or 5 cents. You get some people that try hustling and charge you 15 cents a record.
Yeah.
But like, stay under 3 cents a record.
Now, I was going to say with, what was it?
Sorry.
You're
That's
good.
my fault.
What were we talking about previously?
The lead generation.
Yeah. I was gonna say with that, are you typically pulling like 10,000 leads a month from Propstream, and then to get that result?
Well, I'm an affiliate for Propstream, so
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
so I get a lot more than 10,000 leads. So.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, I don't use them all
Yeah.
every month because like I like to just focus on niche lists.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get a lot of more results, and then like I said, the best list is the no equity list.
Yeah.
Like
That's what you mainly target.
yeah, no equity list, and then just the zombie list. So like houses that's vacant but that's in pre-foreclosure.
Okay.
Now, like, because of COVID, a lot of the good quality leads and lists kind of like is on pause because, a lot of the places still are slowing down on doing foreclosures.
Yeah.
Before COVID, man, people, you get a notice of default in 6 months, you out your house.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's different. So that kind of hurt a lot of the list. So going back to the no equity people and just reaching out to them and saying, yo, especially knowing that they got that COVID loan put on the back end. Like
Right.
a lot of people got their payments deferred.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to be able to catch up.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
most times, a lot of people are like, yo, I'll just rather just go downsize and move to an apartment than to just pay my mortgage. And then like a lot of these mortgages, they're going up, like property taxes and escrows are going up. So their payment that was probably, $1,200 a month went up to like $1,900 a month over the course of 4 or 5 years.
It's true.
So, yeah.
Inflation's crazy right now.
Yeah, inflation, crazy.
So
We should have never took that Donald Trump money. That Joe Biden money too. It was both of them. So
yeah.
Nah.
About to figure it out again.
Yeah, the election's coming up.
they're not giving out no more money. If they give out money, we're gonna be looking like Venezuela.
Third world.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So you're saying for these pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, and no equity, you would typically go for the short sale method. Out of the short sale method, how often do those properties actually end up falling through? Where it's like the bank is denying the short sale.
The only reason, because I've done a few of them, it's not the bank, it's the people handling the transaction. That's why I said you got to make sure you got a great realtor, a great attorney, a great short sale negotiator. The realtor isn't being thirsty. Like the realtor may get another offer that's higher than what you want, and they just trying to get more money in commission.
Right.
So they don't understand the loyalty code, and that can blow a deal up.
Okay.
Because, the bank, nah, we're not going to do the deal no more. It could be a variety of reasons, but most of the times, the bank is not in the business of owning properties.
Yeah.
They want it off their books because they get money with the FDIC. And the FDIC give them what we call a warehouse line of credit. You know what that is?
No.
So a warehouse line of credit is money to loan money. So all your local banks and all of your hard money lenders and all these guys, they get these $100 million, $200 million lines of credit. And they got to do a responsibility to make sure that money is flowing.
Okay.
So if they got bad loans on their books, it hurts their credit rating and then their ability to borrow from the FDIC.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it gets affected then.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes when these banks fold, the FDIC come take the bank and then sell it to somebody else.
Oh, okay. I mainly asked that question because we tried to do another short sale here recently, and it fell through just because the bank came back and denied it. I don't know the exact reason. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, once again, you got to qualify the person. So you got to think like the underwriter.
Right.
Like,
it's like, is there
this
financial
person
distress
in a
here?
financial situation? And you got to talk to them, and that's when in sales, learning how to talk to people and get them to open up. Well, how much did you make, Mr. Seller, when you first signed the house?
Yeah.
What did you file in your taxes last year? What's your last 6 months of bank statements look like? Because if you doing trucking on the side, you drive a tractor trailer making $10K a month, but you telling the bank you can't afford, they're going to look at your bank statement like, nah, bro, you got all this money. We not doing no short sale.
Okay.
So you got to get all of that.
Yeah.
And then you package it up and you basically give it to the realtor on a silver platter. And you pretty much doing everybody's job, but you're guaranteeing that the deal won't go through.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's smart. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Do you have, out of everything you've done, because you've done countless deals, I'm sure, is there one that sticks out to you where it's like either it was a big check at the end of the day or it's a crazy situation? Like, is there one that was like...
We did a deal in Pennsylvania on 19th Street, and that deal was supposed to be like a $40K deal. And we hired some contractors that we really didn't know, and that's why I say word of mouth is... We got a recommendation, but the person we got a recommendation wasn't as solid as the person either, but we was just desperate, needed somebody to help us.
Yeah.
And they was sanding the floors, and they supposed to reglaze and restain the floors.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know about the chemicals for it. It's very flammable. So they took the rags and left it in a trash can in the house, and it burnt the whole downstairs and the kitchen up.
Oh my God.
So we didn't tell our hard money lenders. We didn't tell nobody. We didn't even tell it's past. We sold it, so we good. We didn't tell nobody. We just went in and went in our bank account, took our money, fixed it up, and made the repairs. And that kind of really was a gut punch because that was supposed to have been a seed money that we take to go really do more deals.
Yeah.
Right.
And
did you end up losing money on that one?
we didn't lose money, but we only made like $8,000.
Yeah, so not nearly what you were
But if
expecting.
you working on a deal for 4 months, and you make $8,000, then you gotta say, well, how much is my time worth?
Right. So you are kind of losing
Take
money.
out taxes on that too.
Then
It's
it's like Instacart money. Like,
Right.
I could have worked for Instacart for that
I
money.
could just did
Yeah.
DoorDash.
Yeah, and that was when we sold it, it was still a great house, but man, that was a beautiful house. Actually, Zach sold us the house.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he sold it to us. I think like $50K cash.
Mm-hmm.
55 was he made. I ain't gonna tell you what he made. He made good money on it. He was one of the private money lenders, and I didn't care because I'm a type of person. I don't care what you make.
Yeah.
I'm still getting a good deal.
Everyone's winning. Yeah.
Because if my numbers pencil out before I knew what you make, it shouldn't matter like how much you make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now for, new people watching this, but also experienced people watching this, like what advice do you have that you would give?
Well, I would recommend everybody don't just be stuck on one thing. Mm-hmm. Some people gonna tell you just focus on one thing, tunnel vision, and I'm telling you that's not the way to do it because if that one thing blow up, you in the basement, you struggling.
You kind of got no other route to go down.
Yeah. So what I like to do as a business owner is to diversify. It's 3 incomes you should be making. You should be making money every day, right? So have a service-based business. Like our guys, they take pictures. They make money every single day when someone needs to sell a house.
Yeah.
Right? So you should be making money every single day. You should be making money in big chunks. That could be flipping or wholesaling or whatever you may be doing. And then you should be making money monthly, like some type of residual or continuity. In real estate, we call that cash flow rentals. And other businesses, we call that a continuity offer. That can be a training program every month. Like I have a VA training program. We charge $99 a month per VA, and we train everybody VA, and they meet with me every Thursday.
Oh, okay.
So like if you got a skill, you shouldn't be ashamed to get paid for that skill.
Right.
So if you can make money them 3 type of ways, then you kind of had like, not going to say indestructible wealth, but you kind of have a balance where if you get caught up in your real estate business and it's slow or you're going through a hardship or a few refinances on hold, you still got money coming in from other avenues to keep the empire afloat.
Right.
Smart.
No,
So,
that's really good.
do you still have the tags and title company?
No, unfortunately not.
What happened with that?
We let it go.
Yeah.
We had 3 locations. We let it all go. And,
Did you sell it off or did you just
we just let it go.
let it go?
It's like certain businesses you can't sell.
Yeah.
Like it's not sellable. Like because people can just go to the NVA and just go up, get their license and be in business. So why would they pay you extra money?
That's true.
So.
All right.
Well, we truly appreciate you coming on the podcast here.
Yeah, that flew by.
Yeah, we'll make sure to have all your information down below. If you guys need a VA, Antoine's the guy. So, yeah, is there any last words you want to say? Or shout out any of your social medias? We'll still make sure to have them down.
Just stay humble. I don't care how much money you make. It could all be turned around on you tomorrow. Stay humble, love God, love your family, and figure out what your passion is. Outside of what you're doing, have a secondary passion because you get bored eventually.
All right.
Well,
Sounds
with
good.
that being
Thank you,
said,
sir.
we'll catch you guys on the next one.